Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today, for our number talk, we are looking at these two fractions and approximating the sum, trying to figure out if they add up to about 1/2, about 1, or about 2. So these two fractions are a little bit different. Hopefully, we notice that this first fraction, 64 over 60, is an improper fraction. So what we want to do is we want to look at this and try to change that to a close benchmark. And so we're going to think, well, it might be about 1, might be about 1.5, or it might be about 2. Those are some easy benchmarks. Whereas this 2 over 43, that's a proper fraction, so it's got a different set of benchmarks we want to mentally change it to. About 0, about 1/2, or about 1. So it kind of depends on whether it's a proper or improper fraction. So let's look at the 64 over 60, and it's improper, but it doesn't seem like it's improper by much. Right, so the easiest thing to do is think, well, what would 1 whole be? Well, that means that we're going to look at the same numerator as denominator. So that's 60 over 64. And how far away is that 64 over 60 from the 1 whole 60 over 60? Well, that's just going to be a plus 4. That's not really that much farther away. And so this makes me think, especially with a denominator as large as 60, that I can reimagine this as just 1 whole, because it's really just 4 away from that 1 whole of 60 over 60. All right, so we've got 64 over 60 reimagined as 1. Let's switch over to this 2 over 43. So what would 0 over 43 be? Well, that's just going to be, 0 wholes would be that 0 over 43. What would 1 whole be? Well, that's going to be 43 over 43. Well, 2 is definitely closer to the 0 than it is the 43, so it's not that. So what would half of 43 be? Well, that's a little bit tricky. I like to imagine it like this. What if I had fractions on either side of it? So half of 42 is 21. Half of 44 is 22. So what's in between that? 21.5. So half of 43 is going to be 21.5. Is my 2 closer to 0 or closer to the 21.5? Very much closer to the 0. So really that 2 out of 43 might as well be a 0 if we're looking, for approximations. So I've got a 1 plus basically a 0. You add those together and you get about 1.